Hey YouTube subscribers, this is DangerMan, and this is not my usual video, is it? It's not my paintball how-to video, it's not my inline skating how-to video. I'm here to talk to you about something a little more important. I need your help. And let me tell you why I need your help. Years ago I wrote a short story called Aeroplane City. And in the end, the character became DangerMan. Now you know how I came up with the moniker for myself, DangerMan. Now this story has since become, outside of my children, my life's work. So imagine in your life you have something that's more important than anything, whether or not you want to be a police officer or an Olympic athlete or a stockbroker, who knows. Whatever it is you look for in life, how do you get there? In my lifetime, I have always truly loved writing. I have considered myself a writer all my life. As a young boy, I wrote a short screenplay, and I didn't know it was a screenplay at the age of 10. Then by the time I was in high school, I was writing for the school newspaper. And then that was it. I sang in a band, wrote the lyrics, continued to write, kept a journal for years before it was cool, never put it out on the internet. Did keep a blog for 9 years while I ran my business. And perhaps if that business was still there today, I might not be having this conversation with you. But would you believe at one time I was a married man and I was a successful businessman? In my heyday, I made $240,000 to $270,000 a year. I bred Bengal cats. I'd make $3,000 a litter. Since that time, the recession has taken its toll, and of course divorce. The ex-wife, she had an affair. She tried to torpedo the business by sending money overseas to her sister and her father to the tune of $25,000. I had an employee at the time while she was creating that trouble for me, taking advantage of the business and embezzling. When I finally found out it was taking place, he bought a one-way ticket out of the country. He wasn't a U.S. citizen as far as I could tell, and he just vanished. So life throws you curveballs. You learn how to hit them. In that time, I have maintained one thing, and that was I would not be without my children. I did win custody in court. I'm one of the few men to win twice. So for me, being without my boys would be like taking away oxygen. I have made my way in the world. My blog, I always hoped it would earn me some money through the Google AdWords program. Ooh, did not do it. Since then, I accidentally put up a couple YouTube videos to help people, and they've made me more money than the ad program for my writing in all those years. So I learned to run with that. I learned that you wanted more content, and I gave it to you. It's a give and take, though. You know, I mean, I don't put them up for free. I put them up because I'm going to make money from them. But I do love it. I believe that if you're good at something, you don't keep it to yourself. Well, the story itself is really what I'm here to talk to you about, the story Aeroplane City. So let me get right to it. If you're going to get behind me, I don't want you to get behind me just because you like me. I want you to get behind me because you think the story is great. But it doesn't matter how great it is. If I put this book out there, self-publish, or even through a publishing house, which I hope to do over self-publishing, either way, it's ultimately a store pointed backwards on a dead-end street with the lights turned off. Unless I have you telling a friend, who tells a friend, who tells a friend, and every single one of you gives a shit, because I need you to give a shit, okay? If you don't tell each other to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter, following me on Twitter is the most important thing here, because that is going to be how I announce that the book's out. That is going to be how I help everybody know where the status of the book is. I'm hoping it'll come in, digitally $7.99 to $10.99, and I'm hoping that you're willing to say, you know what, in an entire year, for me to spend money on so many things, I can pony up $10 for this guy because the book is that great. So let's get to it. What's it about? Aeroplane City is a romance set against a corporate espionage. Now, if I send this out to a publishing firm and they read the first 2 chapters, they're going to decide out of the gate it's a science fiction novel. It's a chase story. It is perhaps a superhero story. Because in the end, Dalton who meets the love of his life in the Sad Cafe as he flies into this city, goes through this challenge of a lifetime, but becomes a different man in the end. It's a boy meets girl story. Boy meets girl, boy loses girl, does boy get girl back? The story itself is epic and complex. Airplane City is set in a plausible future where corporations run the world. Governments, as you know them today, are gone. There are no borders, there are no countries. There are only cities, and how much a number of companies can band together to annex space and call that space their city is designated a city. And they create what's called a board of regents to dictate whatever the laws and ordinances of whatever that city, the borders of that city will abide by. There are no armies, so the battles that take place are between companies who fight for information to build better products by stealing it from other companies if they can. And in doing so, they create this cultural element called a spy hunter, which the spy hunters actually come about originally because of digital identities. Digital identity is, in this world, equivalent to what you probably would call a false ID. Want to go to Vegas and not be yourself? You use a digital identity. Want to cheat on the wife or husband? You acquire through the black market a digital identity. But a digital identity does not have a social network around it. It's just an identity that allows you to use a bank account. And spy hunters were hired by corporations to find these people using these digital identities to minimize their losses. But over time, the spy hunters became corporate assassins. So they took all of their knowledge and information in that trade and applied it at a greater level. Dalton lives in a world where your last name places you into a caste system of sorts. Your name dictates how far you can go in life, what your station in life can be. Dalton knows at a young age he was kidnapped, but he doesn't know he was kidnapped from a very rich family with a great name that didn't pay the ransom. The family assigned to him says, "We're not going to give you our name, but you can pick your own." And he does. And he defies all odds by being the only Dalton Vries, the only Vries on the planet, by building a name for himself and rising above his station through this corporation, this major corporation that he works for. This corporation decides that it's going to utilize people within their company to ward off any would-be spies by pretending to kill some of their employees over the years and spreading that disinformation to other companies. Stay out or you'll die. But they don't really kill the people. They put them through a new identity program. And his company creates the ultimate digital identity application that is only used within their company and can thwart any spy hunter. But you lose your name, you lose your identity, you start over again. And Dalton finds out he's about to be one of those victims, just as he meets the love of his life. And now the chase begins. What happens from there? I've given you a taste at the very beginning, chapters 1 and 2. Imagine what you can read from there. I really hope this has got your attention. I hope that you say, I want this. This is the type of thing that counts. Look, I'm a fan of Spider-Man and Batman and all the canons out there of really great comic book characters, especially Grendel. If you haven't read Grendel by Matt Wagner, check it out. Unbelievable. But for me, I want my own. And this is it. Dalton at the end of the story, I won't tell you if he gets the girl, but he does become a corporate vigilante, DangerMan. And the things he acquires to become that corporate vigilante are special and unique, and you won't find them in other stories. The fact that Airplane City even exists in this world which I've created, I hope makes sense, that it could happen. He lands on a glass runway and immediately in the very start of the story, 4 stories off the ground. Photovoltaic glass, the densest material made to man. Imagine a city with all of the buildings where cars don't exist, so the streets are more narrow, and the buildings are connected by skywalks and catwalks. It's somewhat utilitarian, somewhat, but it's romantic. Maybe the dress of the people of the day is slightly utilitarian, but it's not a dark world, at least not Airplane City itself. So I hope all of this is really getting your attention. I need you now to take away from this little video you're watching and follow me on Twitter, get the word out, get me some more subscribers. Be a part of this. So I hope you're on board. Support me, get the word out. Thank you.
It's too much for any man.